Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started here, just going to briefly review our risk disclosure. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Just going to flash the risk disclosure, just kind of highlight that. Okay, here we go. There it is. Okay, just going to remind everyone that the content that's being presented here is for educational purposes only. I'm making no representation here as an advisor of any sort here. Okay, we all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk, and then we should only be using risk capital when we engage in the markets. And again, nothing contained here is a solicitation offer to buy, sell futures, forex. Okay, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, Dirk. All right. So again, guys, so there's the risk disclosure. Again, just to kind of remind you sort of the scope of these sessions here. Okay. Now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the news here and see what kind of news we have in store today that has the potential of impacting the markets. Okay. So we'll go ahead and open up the news portal here. Just going to pause here, make sure that gets loaded. Looks like that's loaded. Okay, so today we have initial jobless claims. Okay, so that's being reported as we speak here. Looks like it did come in a little bit better than expected, 4,000 less than what was originally forecasted. And then also U.S. continued jobless claims, again, came in a little bit under forecast. We do have a couple of Fed members speaking later today. We have Fed member Moran and Fed member Bowman that are speaking. That has maybe a little bit of a potential of impacting. And then we have the U.S. 7-year high yield reporting here at 1 p.m. Eastern time. That has also an impact of impacting the markets here. Now, looking ahead for the remainder of the week here, tomorrow we have a fair amount of news that could impact the markets. We have PPI, core PPI. That could have some effect on the markets here. So now that we have kind of a feel here for the news, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention now to the portal and take a look at not portal, but trading platform, and take a look and see what kind of context we can kind of drive out of the markets in preparation for the market itself here. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring that up here. Just want to make sure I have my charting platform up and available here. So we'll do that first, and then we'll change focus here. Okay, so look at my platform. Bear with me here, guys, as I try to locate that. Let's see, where did it go? All right, let's do it this way. Actually, yeah. All right. Looks like I got them up and running here. So let me go ahead and turn our attention to that now. Apologize for the delay, guys. Technology. All right. Hopefully you guys can see my screen now. Okay. Good morning, Antha Will. All right. I believe you can see my screen, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed with my review here. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're going to go remove some of our drawings here. Actually, maybe disable some. Let's see what I want to remove here. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart here. All right, so looking at the daily chart. Okay, so you can see that we got a little bit of a gap here. Looks like we opened the day here with an inside candle, and we still very much, I would say, in some sort of range kind of price action in the gold. Right, we had that little sell-off here at the end of January. Okay, and we're still kind of working our way inside that candle. And we seem to see a lot in the way of overlapping price candles. And today is no different. We have an inside candle, which could be an indication that we will probably more than likely be in range of maybe the prior day. Okay, in today's session. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we'll see if I can disable. Let's see if you can allow me. Here, this one here, this one here, this one here. All right, let's disable the initial balance here for a moment. Okay, so kind of taking a look at the 4-hour chart, more of the same of what we were witnessing on the daily chart, right? You can see that price seems to be quite content at these current levels here, right? You see a lot in the way of overlapping price candles on the 4-hour. Now we are above some of our moving averages that we care about, but nonetheless, we are not making any significant headway in any one direction here. Taking a look at the DMI, the DMI is also kind of telling us the same kind of view here. No real pressure either on the buy or the sell side. We do see that the selling pressure is above the buying pressure, so that's giving maybe a little bit of indication that there is a little bit of selling pressure that has come into the gold market, but I wouldn't say that is all that significant. The momentum behind it is still quite low, based on the 4-hour chart. Okay, taking a look at the 30-minute, looking at the 30-minute in a little bit of detail here. So again, you can see that price has remained in a range. Okay. Again, we're I think I maybe mentioned this in the last session. Maybe we are developing a little bit of a little head and shoulder pattern here, right? This being the head here, right? This being the right shoulder. And this over here being the left shoulder. Okay, so that could be an indication. And then again, kind of drawing in the neckline, right? This is the kind of the neckline, right? So if this is truly the pattern that I'm recognizing here, then maybe there is another leg lower that's that we could anticipate in this market. Okay, right? So I mean, if I take a measure of the top of this down to the neckline, maybe we are in store for maybe another leg that would take us back down to 5140, 5,140, right? So it'll be interesting to see how well if price is able to hold this neckline, or whether price begins to move lower. Okay. Taking a look here at the fixed range volume profile, we'll take a look here and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. And if I start off here at the start of the yesterday's session and move my way over to the close, you can see that price is basically at the low end of value. Okay, so there's a fair amount of interest, I would say. and folks are willing to maybe potentially pay a little bit of a premium to be part of this market to the downside. Okay. Now, I would say that we have some relatively important levels below here. If we are going to maintain these current levels, we obviously need to hold above 51.73 and 51.65. Those are a couple of levels that we need to hold above. Otherwise, if we break those levels, that opens the door for us maybe for price to come back and revisit some of these lows that we've have listed here, as low as 51.47, maybe as low as 51.30. Okay, so we're at I would say a relatively important area. Okay, in the chart. I'm going to go ahead and take a look here at the initial balance ranges across the various markets here before we take a look at the DMI. Let's see here. Okay, there it is. Okay, so looking at this across the various markets, we'll start off with the Asia session. All right, so looking at the Asia session, you can see that the market was pretty much in some sort of range for most of the session here, right? No real direction. We did take a peek above and created a little bit of a failed auction here. Okay, didn't quite reach the other side of the initial balance range, but nonetheless, it appears that we are in some sort of bearish structure here to the downside. Taking a look at the London session, looking at London. Okay, you can see that also very much in range here. Okay, you can see that the market is very much in range. So again, we are consolidating in a bearish direction. If we look at the DMI is kind of giving us an indication that there's a fair amount of selling pressure has come in to this market. We see our ADX momentum indicator kind of increase in momentum here, right? We're right at 19. Normally a reading of 25 and above would indicate a stronger reading, but nonetheless, it's sloping in the same direction as our negative DI. And we also see that our positive DI is losing momentum, okay? Losing pressure here to the downside. So indicating that there is maybe a fair amount of momentum that is building in the gold market, okay? So let's take a look here, just a peek here at the current session and see what kind of initial balance range is establishing. So far, we have a relatively narrow initial balance range, okay? So, yeah, so I would say headed into the session, I would say that I'm probably neutral to bearish on the gold. I can't recall the last time I have actually said bearish when it came to the metals, but I am seeing some price action that would indicate, again, what's influencing this is the fact that we've gotten a swing here to the downside, and what this appears to be to me is more of a consolidation for maybe the possibility of another leg lower. Okay, so we'll go with the neutral to bearish view in the gold. Okay, take a look at the silver market. Okay, looking at silver again, we're going to go ahead and start with a daily chart. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment, and then take a look and remove some of our drawings and try to make sense of this. So we see that price is above our 200, above our 100, above our 50, and also above our 9 EMA here. So on the daily chart, I would say that maybe we're getting a little bit more in the way of indication of maybe a little bit more in the way of bullish, view on this market. Okay, still, in bearish structure, but the fact that we are above some of these EMAs is giving us maybe an indication here that we're building some interest in this market to the upside. The DMI really not giving us any indication on direction here at the moment. We see a lot in the way of overlapping positive and negative DI, and we have a falling ADX. Nothing in the way of volume here at the moment on the daily chart. So while we might be getting a little bit of interest here to the bullish side, it does not seem to be all that momentous. There doesn't seem to be a lot of momentum behind it. Okay, so we seem to be kind of grinding our way to the upside. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Again, we're going to go ahead and expand and then take a look here. Okay, so kind of a mixed bag. So we see that we are below some of our moving averages, including our VWAP. So this is kind of giving us a little bit of a different kind of look here on the 4-hour chart, right? We have some moving averages that we are below. We just managed to get below the 200 moving average. This is the EMA moving below here, and then we also have the what's it? This lighter color here is probably the 50, and you see the bolder gold is the 9 EMA. So on the 4-hour, we're maybe getting a little bit of indication that maybe the market again showing some signs of weakness here. Okay, we're up against an area of support. If we don't obviously manage to hold this level of support, then I don't see any reason that we don't come back and maybe revisit some of these lows that we have down here around the 80 level here. We have some confluence here with some of our moving averages that could cause the market to potentially come down and revisit some of those levels. So 4-hour showing maybe a little bit more signs of some maybe bearish kind of price action. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, I'm going to go ahead and kind of compare where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. We'll start with the fixed range volume profile. We'll start off with the start of the session yesterday and work our way to the close. And you can see even more bearish kind of interest here in this market, right? So we're well below the value range on this 30-minute chart. Okay, make sure that I got this correct. I got 5:30 to close. Yes, so fair amount of interest here to the downside. Now we have reached the 200 EMA down here at 87. Okay, so this would be a logical location for price to potentially hold for an opportunity maybe to come back and revisit the 90 level. Okay, so again, using the 200 EMA as our kind of anchor here. Okay, if price were to fall, then that opens the door for some lower prices here. Okay, but right now we are in an area of some consolidation. Okay, and we are up against the moving average that should provide potentially at least a bounce back to VWAP and potentially to the upper end of this range. Okay, taking a look at let's see, we've looked at the fixed range volume profile. Let's take a look at the initial balance ranges across the various markets here. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the Asia session and see what Asia was able to do with this market. Well, Asia wasn't really able to do much with this market. Similar to what we said about gold, kind of remained in some sort of range, relatively wide range, but a range nonetheless. Managed to kind of extend the range as we kind of entered London, and London, similar to the Asia market, was not really able to make any sort of serious advance in any direction in this market. Right? We again remained in range. Okay. So I would say headed in. Let's take a look here at our visible range volume profile. We're kind of at the lower extreme end of the range here. So certainly possible that we try to maybe come back to the maybe fill in some of this area here that we have kind of low volume nodes that we've established here on this market. I feel like we're kind of developing a little bit of a double bottom pattern here. Okay, is kind of what I'm seeing. So maybe there's a possibility that we maybe make another trek to the upside here using the 200 EMA as our kind of anchor here, right? As our source of truth with respect to continuation here. Okay, so again, similar to the gold market, I'm still going to give it a neutral to bearish kind of rating here. I do see the possibility here of maybe a bounce, maybe back up to the highs of this initial balance range and maybe beyond. Okay, I'm going to take a look here and see where settlement falls in this mix here. Settlement looks like is above, right? So settlement is above here, right? I don't know if you guys can see that, but settlement is above at this level. So it would not surprise me if the market decided to make its way back higher here. Okay. I see evidence of an area where price could potentially hold and offer us maybe a rotation in this market. All right. So again, I'll still keep the neutral to bearish rating here, but if we can may possibly break a new high with some volume, maybe that view will change here a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and move into the crude oil market. Crude oil market has been kind of slow of late. Taking a look at the daily chart here, looks like we got to a high here around 67, and looks like we stalled. Everybody was kind of holding out hope that maybe this break on the daily side was going to create maybe an opportunity for the market to kind of continue to rally. Instead, we've kind of stalled here. We ran out of participation in this market to the long side, and have created maybe a little bit of an acceleration in the opposite direction. Now, the issue with the crude oil is that it's very sensitive to global news, right? So if we are going to entertain a trade like this in a market that's not really moving all that much, we kind of open ourselves up to a news event that could cause the market to move in a way that we don't anticipate. So we need to be quite careful with the crude oil. All right. So taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, I think more of the same. We're seeing price kind of work its way lower here. Okay, it's going to turn off initial balance here, collapse this a little bit, and kind of widen this up as much as I can here. So you can see that price has managed its way below a lot of our moving averages, and really the only moving average that is not where it's not has yet to fall below is the 200, right? So I would say that this 200 moving average, this level at 63, should be a level that's going to be relatively supportive in this market. Okay, given the proximity that of price at this level, certainly there's a possibility that we come back to this level, reverse. Looks like price is reacting to something that was created back in this level here, right? The 64 level looks like it's found maybe some interest here at the 64 level in this market. Okay. But we are still very much in bearish structure here on the 4-hour chart. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, so there's our settlement above, and you can see that price remains below all our moving averages. Okay, below all of them: 200, 100, 50, 20, VWAP, 90 MA. Price is below all of it. Okay. Now we've created a little bit of a 3-bar, a little bit of a pattern here that would indicate maybe there is a little bit of a rally that we might see. But honestly, can't really expect much more out of this rally other than to maybe come back to VWAP. Okay, honestly, there's certainly the possibility that if we exceed VWAP, we come back to settlement price here at 65.40. So I don't know if this is enough necessarily for a trade. Because the average range in crude oil has been a bit on the small side. We'd have to look at the daily candles or maybe ATR here to kind of get a gauge of that. If I look at the DMI, I see a fair amount of interest here in the downside. We've got a little bit of a blip here, given this candle here of some interest here. Some volume came in to the buy side. Whether it's sustained, that's going to be the question. Do we have sustained buying that's coming in that's going to cause the market to continue to drive higher? We'll have to wait and see here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. I think we know the answer to this question, but I think we're going to go ahead and confirm it here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and capture yesterday's range and see where price is in relation to it, and you can see that price is well below value. Okay, that's also evident in the visible range volume profile. Certainly, I would say that the 65.30 level could provide a location for price to offer a continuation move to the downside. That would be a possibility. So I would be open if you were, you're looking for maybe a little bit more of a scalp opportunity in the crude oil. Taking a long here up to that level would be realistic. Okay, that this level here, a 65.30, 65.34, could offer us a location where we could see a continuation move here to the downside. Comparing initial balance ranges across the various markets. Let's take a look at that and see where we fall here. Okay. So we'll open up the initial balance range. Let's see. This is for let's move this to Asia. here. All right. And then we'll see if we can collapse this here a little bit and make sense of this a little bit more. Okay. So you can see Asia, right, was for the most part range bound. Okay. London came in and we found a good number of sellers. So there's a good number of sellers in this market in the overnight. And to some degree, it's probably extended here to the downside. Let's go ahead and open up the ADR here. Yes, we're quite extended to the downside. We've actually exceeded the average daily range already. Okay. So could the average daily range low, that's kind of lining up with VWAP. Could this location offer us a continuation move? I think so. There's certainly the possibility of sellers stepping in at the VWAP and sort of the underbelly of the ADR low. Okay. That would be kind of a location if I'm kind of thinking more along the lines of continuation move to the downside. These areas offer us a logical location for that to take place. Okay. So again, similar to what we were saying, I would say maybe a tad more bearish here in the crude oil market. Certainly I could see us rally here a little bit back to some of these levels that I mentioned, and at which point I would expect price to continue maybe lower. Okay. So we're going to go with a more of a bearish view on the crude oil. We need to look for opportunities to potentially sell this market. Okay. All right. Let's see. Take a look here at the like indicator. So before we move into the NASDAQ and the other equity markets, I'm just going to kind of pause here and encourage people, if these sessions are supporting you in your analysis and your understanding of the markets, don't hesitate to hit the like button. Don't hesitate to leave a like or two, or a comment or two, I should say, on the portal itself. Okay. So with that, I'll go ahead and move on to the equity markets here. Taking a look at the equity markets, we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart. We're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings since this chart is getting quite busy here. So let me turn off the ADR. Let's turn off settlement. Let's turn off the visible range value profile here for a moment. And let's just take a look and see what the market is trying to offer us here. Well, you can see, and I think I've kind of alluded to this area before, right? We have created a little bit of a demand zone down below here at 24,750. And ever since then, since Tuesday, we've been in a market that's kind of rallied. Now, we do have kind of an inside day. This candle did not technically, if I'm not mistaken, let me double confirm that before I say it. Just want to double confirm whether it actually closed above some of these areas. So this was 382. This is opened at, so I don't know if it actually closed above the highs here. No, it did not. Okay. So made an attempt, but has yet to close above some of these candles that we have here on the left-hand side. Now, we are starting to see signs of some bullish price action. Okay. Market has left an area here of support, and price is on the upper end of this current candle. Okay. So there is some evidence that maybe the market wants to rotate and maybe retest 26,400. Okay. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting here on the daily. For our chart. For our chart, also similar kind of view, right? We're starting to create some structure here that would indicate that maybe the market is beginning to look a bit bullish, or at least in a bullish swing. Okay. Let's see if I can collapse this here. All right. So you can see that price is above some of our moving averages, and we're beginning to staircase our way, right? We have a little bit of a staircase developing in this market, right? So indicating to us that there's a good bullish structure that's in flight here at the moment. Price is kind of hovering around our 200 exponential moving average here on the 4-hour chart. So it'll be interesting to see if the market does indeed respect this level, or we're able to get above it. We're currently above it on the 4-hour, and we had this. We did manage to book a candle above it. Okay, so giving us some indication that again, there is some momentum in this market to the upside. Okay. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, we're going to kind of compare. First of all, we're going to take a look here at the fixed range volume profile, and we're gonna see what where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do this here. All right. And you can see right now we're at the upper end of the range. That's kind of what the 4-hour was kind of alluding to us here a little bit. Okay. So if we manage to get above this level, above 25,000, let's say 400, then I don't see the reason why the market doesn't continue to the upside. Okay. We are seeing that prices above our 9, above our 50, above VWAP, and above all the other EMAs in our market. So indicating there is a fair amount of bullish price action that's underway here in this market. All right, let's take a look here at the initial balance ranges across the various sessions. Seems like it's relatively neutral. So looking at Asia here, okay, Asia was relatively neutral until it got close to the London session, at which point they started to rally. Okay, so maybe down to neutral in the Asia session. And if I change this over to the London session, it seems also to be a little bit on the neutral side. So let's double confirm that. All right, looking at the London session, that's also been kind of neutral. So down to neutral in Asia, neutral in the London. London did manage to peak above the initial balance range, but for now has not been able to sustain above, which is kind of giving me the indication that maybe there's a possibility of maybe a little bit of a leg lower. Okay, maybe we come back and revisit some of these levels if we're not able to get above this initial balance range for London. We won't know exactly what kind of initial balance range gets established here in the NASDAQ for another hour and a half or so. So we'll have to wait for what the New York session provides. But if we're looking at the New York session right now, I see a market that is trying to head higher, but not maybe it's not as successful in that as we might want to expect here, right? We made an attempt to get above this initial balance area. That developed a 30-minute candle in the opposing direction. So that might again accelerate potentially with the open of the session, could accelerate a move potentially to the downside. Now, what the one feather that I would say that is maybe I would say for the bulls is that we still remain above some of these moving averages, right? We're still above the 9, we're still above VWAP, the 20 and the 50. So we are in some structure that would indicate that maybe there is some more upside, but we need to obviously make a new high. If we're not able to make a new high, then the market has the only possibility it could make here is to potentially rotate back to locate buyers, and they may locate some buyers down below here, right around this 25,300 level is kind of the next level that I see of some significant buying, or relatively significant buying. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see what the market provides, but I'm going to go with a I guess more of a neutral rating here in the NASDAQ. I don't think there's really anything. If I'm looking at the DMI, I see some positive price action, or not price action. I am seeing positive price action, but I am seeing that the DMI is giving us some indication that there is some interest here to the bullish side in the NASDAQ. If I look at volume has not been all that impressive here, right? So really not giving us, there's not any sort of aggressive buying or selling currently underway here. But again, the DMI is kind of indicating that there's maybe some interest here on the bullish side, but we do obviously need to see price make a new high here and hold above this initial balance range to really embrace that view. Okay. All right. So we'll continue with our neutral rating here on the NASDAQ. Maybe neutral to bullish based on the fact that we still remain above some of these moving averages. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here at the ES and the Dow to follow, and then we'll make one final summary review across all the markets. Okay. So the ES is showing a little bit of signs of strength here, right? Price opened above the daily candle here. You can see that price opened above, took a peek inside the candle, and now it's up at the upper end of the candle. Not the most impressive of candles, very little in the way of body, but the fact that it did open above is obviously an indication that there is some interest here in this market to the upside. Okay. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, similar to what we were saying on the daily, we are seeing some indications of some bullish price action here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the initial balance here for a moment. Okay. You can see that price is above a lot of our moving averages that we care about and also above our VWAP. Okay. And again, just looking at structure here, you can see that we're creating a little bit of structure that is indicating that we are in some sort of bullish structure here. Okay. And we are breaking some resistance zones in its wake. Now, we are coming into an area, 69.80, and obviously the 7,000 level that has been a problem to get above in the past. But is this going to offer us? Do we have the participants to drive price higher? Okay. Don't know that for certain, but we are seeing some indications of that at the moment. Okay. So 4-hour is kind of indicating some bullish price action. I would even say that maybe it's a little bit stronger than what we were seeing in the NASDAQ. Okay. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and start off with the fixed range volume profile to start with and get a sense where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. So we'll go ahead and go back to this area here and close this area off here. Okay. So you can see similar to the NAS, you can see that price is at the upper end of the area here. So again, a relatively important area to, I guess, if we are going to maintain kind of sort of the bullish kind of price action that we've seen of late, we obviously need to get above this area of value. Otherwise, there's the expectation that maybe we explore the other side of the value range. Okay. Right. That's kind of what I'm getting at right now. Right. We're creating a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern as we speak. Okay. We won't see this 30-minute candle close for another 20 minutes, but we are getting a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern that could cause us to at least come back to VWAP and potentially retest some of these lows that were established during the overnight session. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to want to take a look here at the initial balance ranges across the various sessions here. We'll start with Asia. Okay. And Asia, we'll turn that on here. Okay. So Asia was pretty much range bound. Okay. Oops. Asia was pretty much range bound, as you can see, right? No real aggressive buying or selling here until we got to the tail end. And then looks like we found some buyers to kind of step in as we entered London. Taking a look at London, let's see. Well, let's move this, change this to here. London managed to exceed the range. Okay. So again, showing a little bit of strength here in this market on the London side. Okay. So the question now becomes, can we hold above 69.60? I would say that is relatively important if we are going to continue to sustain this move here to the upside. Okay. Otherwise, if we get back inside this value range, then it stands to reason that we would rotate back to the other side of this initial balance range that was established in London. Okay, so if I'm a buyer, I'd like to see maybe a little bit of a pullback back down to the 69.60 level and see some evidence that participants are going to continue to offer us opportunities higher. Okay, if we manage to close back inside, I think we have a strong possibility of rotating back to the other side of the range here. Okay, we are coming into some levels of resistance here, right? So the 69.80 level, this is the high of yesterday's session here. So I would expect that area could continue to be an area of some resistance in price. So that would be kind of an area to kind of keep an eye on. All right. So I would say similar to what we said for the NAS. I would say that there's a fair number of buyers that are in this market at the moment. The question is, do we still continue to have participants in this when the New York session opens? And if so, then we obviously are going to remain above some of these moving averages and maybe revisit some of these highs. Okay, so I'm going to go with a bullish rating here. I see that the ES is slightly stronger to the upside than what we're seeing here in the NAS. So I'll give it a kind of a neutral to bullish kind of rating in the ES. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here at the Dow, and the Dow seems to be the strongest. Okay, of all three of the equity markets here. Okay, you can see that the daily chart is booking or attempting to book a pretty solid candle above the last couple of days of range here. Okay, so daily showing some strong indications here. Actually, wrong chart. Daily, I was looking at the 30-minute, but the 30-minute was quite strong. Okay, so we're getting 1, 2, 3 candles of strength here. This last candle obviously is a developing candle, but the last 2 candles have pretty much wiped out this seller. And with the close of this candle today, assuming that we close, that would be the 3rd straight candle of some bullish price action, which would indicate that maybe there is some momentum here to the upside. I'm looking at my DMI. My DMI is not quite above my negative DI as well, but we are seeing a little bit of momentum kind of build up here in this market. So daily starting to show some signs of maybe the possibility of a leg higher. We are up against some areas of resistance here, right, that have posed to be an area of difficulty getting above in the past. So I would expect that would continue. That's the possibility of that it could continue. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that area as resistant. So until we can get price above, say, 49,720, there's the possibility that we can kind of churn in the same way that we have here on the left-hand side. We could end up doing the same kind of thing here, right? Just kind of continue to churn here, right? Similar to what we saw here on the left-hand side of the market. So we are coming up on a level that's, I would say, relatively important, okay, for the bulls. If they are able and they have the participants to drive price back to some of these highs. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, we're seeing some evidence of some bullish price action here in the Dow. All right. So again, if I'm just looking at the most recent set of candles here, you can see that we are developing a little bit of structure here to the upside, right? Market structure is indicating to us that maybe there is more upside to this market, right? Or do we see another leg to the downside before we continue higher? Okay. As I get more context, well, I know that I'm coming into an area of some prior resistance. So this area here is not going to be an area that the market is just going to fly through. It's going to require a little bit of effort to get through this area, and it may take more than one attempt to get through. Okay. So recent structure, I would say, looks relatively bullish, but I understand that I am coming into an area of potential bears. Okay. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. All right. Again, price is above all our moving averages. Again, out of all the equity markets, this seems to be the strongest. Taking a look at the fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and look at the start of the session from yesterday into the close of this session. Okay. And you can see that price is above, right? Unlike the other equity markets, we do see that the Dow is above value from yesterday's range, indicating bullish sentiment. Okay. So I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of rotation of equities from the tech sector to more established companies. Okay. Maybe there is a little bit of rotation that's happening. And that's what's causing price to kind of elevate here. Okay. So 30-minute chart, I'm seeing indications here of some bullish price action. I'm going to go ahead and take a look and compare the various sessions here. So this is London, well above Asia. Let's take a quick look. Asia was pretty much range bound. Okay. Asia was pretty much range bound, really no activity in Asia, but certainly quite bullish, I would say, in London, right? So fair amount of interest to the long side during London, right? We broke the range and really haven't looked back. Pretty strong move. No retracement back to initial balance and offering us any sort of opportunity outside of maybe the first couple of candles here. Let's go ahead and kind of zoom in on this a little bit. Yeah, outside of the first couple of candles here, really gave us a nice opportunity here for an opportunity long here. Okay, so fair amount of interest to the long side. I would say that we are maybe a little bit extended at this point to the upside. If I open up my ADR here, that will probably indicate to me that let's see, we actually do still have some room to the upside. Okay, so I would say that we have some room all the way up to 49,780, at which point maybe we will start to see a little bit of a slowdown in the move to the upside. Okay. So of the three equity markets, I have to say that the Dow looks the most bullish of the three. All right. Let's go ahead now and take one last look across all the markets here. We'll start off with the gold market. Okay, gold market showing some signs of weakness. Okay, in this market, we're at the lower end of the initial balance range for London. Really not seeing any sort of aggressive buying happening at this point. So I'm going to go with a neutral to bearish rating on the gold. Okay, silver also neutral to bearish on the silver. Notice that a lot of the price action that we are kind of sloping down here. Okay, so neutral to bearish on the silver, and then crude oil also bearish. Okay, and across the equity markets, I would say that there's various levels of bullish behavior. Okay, we have the NASDAQ, I would say, is bullish, but not overly so. ES also bullish, and I would say the Dow is the strongest of the bulls. Okay, is from what I'm seeing here. Okay, so metals generally neutral to bearish, crude oil generally bearish, and then across all the equities, kind of various levels of bullish market sentiment, of which the Dow seems to be the strongest. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pause here and see if there are any questions on anything that I shared with you guys. And if there are no questions, we will go ahead and close off this session. Again, I would encourage folks, if you have not already, if you're not already hit the like button, I would encourage you to do so. Okay. Again, don't be shy in leaving a comment or two and letting folks know how this analysis is supporting your understanding of the markets. And with that, we'll close this session as we close most sessions, and that is trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll see you back tomorrow.